Hello, beautiful people out there in the world. How you feeling today? Let's train, or rather, let's season our minds and our thoughts to be pure and the words of our mouth to be adulterated. And let's train our children to be the exact same way. And let's not confuse them. And to promote in them or to cause them to have a double standard way or an unstable way of thinking, and speaking and living in this life. You may have more than one children, or when your children go to school and they learn the difference in school, or while they're at school, they learn the differences between good words and bad words. And at home, you may teach them the difference between good words and bad words. And you may have, let's just say hypothetically speaking, 3, 4, or 5 children, even 2 children. And one of those children that you can't control, or that's out of control, or that you don't know how to control, or you don't know how to put your foot down to establish order. And let's just say there's just that one child whose thoughts, well, that he could have gotten from the outside. Yeah, he could have gotten from hanging around on the outside or other kids at school, whose thoughts are not pure. And the words of his or her mouth may be adulterated. Or he or she hears you, and your thoughts are not made pure, and your words are adulterated. And he or she wants to be like you, want to be like mommy and daddy. If mommy and daddy is saying it or doing it, and we hear it coming from mommy and daddy, can't be all that bad coming from mommy and daddy. Because I love my mom, and I love my dad, and I look up to them, and I respect them, and I want to be just like them. You hear and you see? And so, as a result of that fact, and you allow them to get away with the words of their mouth being adulterated, poor language, poor vocabulary, just poor. Now, are you going to leave the other child or the other children? Are you going to leave them confused that come to you, who have learned at school and whom you have previously had taught in times past, that those words that other child is using and that you're using is not good words? So now it's sounding contradictory, but it's paradoxical, because now it's sounding contradictory. You see? You're saying one thing, but you're doing another. And it may not sound like it's true, but it is. And so now the other children or this other child comes to you and say, Mommy, didn't you say that those were bad words and that they are not good words? And for us not to use those words because they really make you look bad. They really make you look and sound like a bad person or a no good person when you use words like those. But look at Tommy. Tommy's using those words. Tommy's, the words that comes out of Tommy's mouth are adulterated. And not to tell you what to do because you're our parents, but you do it and Tommy's doing what he hear and see you do. And does it make it okay, or does it make it right for Tommy to do it? Should it be okay for all of us to do it? Don't leave those other children ambiguous, doubtful, and uncertain. Don't leave them confused. Straighten that out with them so that they'll understand what's going on. Sit them down and talk to them so that they won't feel like that they're being left out in one way or another, or that you favor Tommy over them. And Tommy is allowed to get away with things that they can't get away with. So how does that make them feel now? Now, if you leave it out there the way that it is, they're going to begin to feel double-minded in their in their ways, their actions, and in their thoughts. They're going to begin to feel segregated in their mind. And you don't want them to grow in their thinking, in their thoughts. You don't want them to grow up like that. You don't want that to continue on. But you want to address that so that they won't be confused, so that they won't have a misconception about or pertaining to what's going on. Beautiful people, we've got to do a better job of letting the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in the sight of our families and our children. We have to do what it takes not to let or allow the devil to be in the details to cause us and our children to err or to fail. But by not talking to them, now you defend Tommy's ignorance, which derives from you, that he got it from, by saying, I'm the adult, I'm the parent, I'm grown, I can do what I want to do. You see? And you can't say, do as I say and not as I do. You can't say that because Tommy's doing it. You see, now you just sowed discord amongst your children and you just caused a divide. And one's going to like, or it's going to dislike one more than the other. You need to straighten that out. You need to diffuse that situation. You need to sit them down and talk to them so that everybody will understand the order of the household and what's right and what's wrong. Right from right and wrong from wrong. And if you are going to allow Tommy to continue doing it and you tell them that it's okay, that the rules have changed. Now, if you decide that you want to use foul language and corrupt yourself, you know, and be adulterated and not have a pure mind, then go ahead and do so. But when that child goes ahead and set some standards for themselves and ultimately try it and say, Mommy or Daddy, it don't feel right. I don't like it, and I'm not going to do it. Don't allow that child, don't suffer that child to be an outcast in the family and amongst the other children, to be singled out because they choose to uphold and lift up some standards and principles. Now, all of a sudden, they're thinking, without that child even thinking of saying it, that particular child thinks that it's better than all the rest of them and everybody else. Oh, you think you're better than me. That child is not thinking that way, and neither did it come from their mouth. They just choose to remain pure and adulterated. To all you beautiful people out there in the world, if nobody told you they love you today, I love you. And have a smiling day.